Today we have CPI and we're probably looking at a lot of volatility entering the market. Now, what's very interesting is if you look at Bitcoin, you have 8-hour RSI at the bottom. We're still holding 27,000. It's impressive to see that Bitcoin just holds. But we do know that below the 27,000, we have 25,000, we have 23,000. I think we even have a CME gap that's sitting around 21, right? So there is the gap to the downside. But what we're starting to see here is we're still seeing Bitcoin strength. We're still seeing it hold the major supports. And before we look at the downside targets, we also look at what happens if things go good today. There's definitely going to be a little bit of popcorn. There's going to be up and down. But what we have is the 8-hour RSI reset to the bottom, the 12-hour RSI reset to the bottom, and we have the daily. And if Bitcoin does decide to hold these areas yet again, what's stopping it to go back to the 30K? That's a big topic to speak about. Secondly, I've entered a 𝗕𝗏𝗄𝗧 long. I'm going to be speaking about why I've entered a 𝗕𝗏𝗄𝗧 long, especially today and where we're at right now. And then what we have is we have a whole bunch of different tokens moving. I actually saw yesterday, and if we look to the hour here, we have Bitcoin Cash waking up. We have BSV waking up. We got Render, which I think is getting to a good position. Now, guys, if things do go good today and Bitcoin does hold the support and we do bounce, we actually have some good altcoins sitting in really good short-term trading territory. What we've started to notice is volatility is increasing. And if we do have positive news and market wakes up, there's a lot of great entries to make some short-term cash. And we also know if things go bad, there's probably some huge short opportunities. So this is going to be a big show. We are live today. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I have your coffee ready. I hope you have your coffee ready. And no more wasting time, Josh. Let's get into the show.
Click, click. Have you heard the news? What? With his finger on the pulse, it's like Sheldon knew. Click, click. When the sniper shoots, we got Sheldon on the charts, so we never lose. Enter the sniper, sharpshooter with visor. Enter the sniper, he marks the charts right. Enter the sniper, he's calling the cycles. So enter the sniper, click, click, click. Time to be dedicated, sniper mode is activated. Explosions in the market are in target, and Sheldon demonstrates. Mirror, mirror on the wall, Master Sheldon tell us all. We got Sheldon on the chart, so we never lose. Enter the sniper, sharpshooter with visor. Enter the sniper, he marks the charts right. Enter the sniper, he's calling the cycles. Enter the sniper, click, click. Enter the sniper.
Yo, Banter fam, hope you're having a fantastic day. What's up, guys? Say what's up in the chat. I want to see who's all alive. Are you surviving the craziness? Is your long-term portfolio surviving too? I think that's the big one. We've seen a bit of a pullback within altcoins, everything getting quite boring. Are you surviving, guys? How are we doing out there? How's the mental strength? It's crazy how this market goes crazy euphoric and gets us all so excited, and then it can get so boring and so demotivating, and it's hard to keep in touch. So let me know how you guys are doing. I see there's many people here saying what's up, what's up, what's up, what's happening, guys. We are here. We keep fighting, and we're going to make it. That's how it happens. Now, guys, a few big things. We have, obviously, the Bybit competition, which I'm continuing to trade now. I've actually taken a few longs, which I'll speak about now shortly. What we've just heard as well, guys, is if you open a Bybit account, and I'll say you hit the double whammy here, is you get a Sniper School Bybit account. If you open an account and you put $250 in, you can join Sniper School, which is amazing. You just register, and it's 3 basic steps, which you get in the email. But what you also get is you get $50 from Bybit. So if you're a new user, when the competition ends, you get $50 even if you don't trade. So just know that you'll find below in the description. And obviously, we've got all of our different exchange links. If you want to open up, use the Sniper School ones, get you the live trading sessions. We even have cohort 5 running right now. And straight after the show, we're doing the live event. So you can still actually make it. So make it happen, guys. Secondly, follow me on Twitter, Sheldon_Sniper. As you can start to see the shows get streamed on Twitter as well now. Which is really cool. I think the video on Twitter is becoming a big thing. And I think it's a big part of where we going to be moving. Not moving, but basically using as well. So you can find it there as well. So let's quickly jump into Bitcoin, see where we're at. I've done a few pre-records. So the last 2-3 days have been some pre-records, guys, as we've been working on a lot in the back end. And the market's sort of been sitting. So me, again, when the markets are sitting, I'm just dropping a ton of educational videos. And we're going to be changing the tiles of those videos so that you can just always have. And I think that's the big thing. I'm very annoyed that throughout my 2-year career within Banter, 500 shows, 600 shows, that I've done so much education. But because it has a tile that says Bitcoin's dumping now or buy Bitcoin now, you don't know the education's in there. So we making sure that I'm doing the educational content, changing the tile so that you can always fall back on. Guys, whenever you're bored, whenever the market's not doing much, educate, educate, educate. Very, very, very important. So what we have with Bitcoin, sitting at $27,585, still hovering above support, coming down slowly. No crazy huge red candles just yet. We know where that can come. That's obviously this big gap over here that I've spoken about. And we know obviously everyone is waiting for 25K. I spoke about it on yesterday's show that I think if we do lose the gap to the downside, I think they send a wick a little bit further down, because there's going to be so many orders sitting at 25K, and many people are going to long, probably a lot of leverage longs there too. And I think they send it slightly lower. And where they could send it to is around about the 22,000, 23,000. So this is obviously only once we lose this area over here, but we got to just be aware of it and know that, where could we possibly go? And if you look at the original trend of the actual bull line, if I want to call it, the momentum line support right now, that is pointing towards the 23,000. So there's a lot of support in the area over here horizontally. We have the 200 weekly moving average, and I think they might send it quickly down, but I think the end of the week still possibly closes above. And like I said, they worked their asses off this year to get there, and I think they're going to hold it pretty strongly. So any of these pullbacks, I think if we do get the lower areas of maybe a low $20,000 Bitcoin, again, it's about going to your portfolio, having a look. What are my good entries? What are my bad entries? Get rid of the bad entries, get the good entries. Rather have less coins, way better entries. And remember, guys, if something is 90% down and you put 10% of the money in now, you get double the coins. And it's all about how much coins you have. And you just got to keep focused with that when it comes, because we saw how quickly the market moves up. 3 weeks ago, I'm saying alt season. And for me, it's like, okay, also even cheaper now. And it may be in a week again where it is. Okay, it is alt season, and these things happen. The market wakes up very quickly. So just keep focused on that, guys, and keep motivated with that. So the way I'm treating now at the moment, short time frame with Bitcoin, I actually have this little 1 hour trend. So if you jump the 4 hour trend, so if you jump to the 4 hour chart, I'm basically just tracking this momentum to the downside. And remember, that's what it's about. It's about tracking. Yes, we are coming to the downside. How fast are we coming down? We have officially made a lower low on the 4 hour. This is medium time frame though, a few days. It's not the big time frame, the daily ones that we're looking at just yet. So maybe for the last few days we've been bearish, but on the daily we're still bullish as long as we hold a certain area. So what I'm doing is I'm putting in this 4 hour trend and I'm tracking this down. Now we have CPI, and CPI is in 2.5 hours, right? And it's probably going to create a lot of popcorn. It probably is. And what I'm starting to look for is either it's just going to pop. Maybe things go well, the expectations, everything, and the market just pops because it's been pulling back for the last few days. And if it breaks this trend, it just rips. And what happened last week was FOMC was nothing really happened. And as soon as everything ended and there was like an hour or so of breathing time, Bitcoin took off. The market took off in general. And that's the same thing. So if we have CPI, there might be a cheeky little wick. So be aware of that. And I'll probably use that, if we wick down. And this is where a candle becomes very important. So what you want to see on the 1 hour or the 4 hour is you're going to definitely see on the 1 hour, you're going to start to see a lot of volatility. And what you want to do is you want to read that candle when it basically happens. And if you start to see a big dump off, okay, and you're like, okay, whoa, okay, it's dumping. Wait. Let's see. Do we hold 27? And all of a sudden, it bounces and it gets brought up in the same candle. So you start to see like this huge wick. You see very similar to here, where you got this like big pullback and it forms this wick and it goes green, or the body's very small. Guys, that's what we really want to see, because sometimes what they do on these big events is they send it first, they send it in the opposite direction, they panic you, they suck it all up and they get going. Now, if we have that wick to the downside and it gets bought up at 27 and it gets bought up and goes green, and then it breaks this trend over here, guys, I think it's a great time to take some longs, which may be short-term longs and ones that will TP maybe in a few days or maybe even a day or two, but it also might turn into long-term longs where all of a sudden Bitcoin does bounce and it does break this trend line. And that's the major trend we want to see. So I have the short-term trend to track the momentum now, and I'm ready. What I love about these things, guys, is because we've been slowly bleeding with Bitcoin, it gives me that beautiful trend, and it gives me the beautiful setup of how I know how to take the trade when it actually happens. So all of a sudden now, what you have is you have Bitcoin, let's say it has a cheeky wick, and it breaks. And once it breaks, for me to put a stop here is great. Like, risk to reward is incredible by doing that. And ultimately, what does that mean? It means if we break this short-term trend now, it means we're going to the main one. And ever since we have stopped getting higher highs, we have been getting lower lows. And that's the thing. Maybe this goes here. Okay, cool. We make a good 10, 20% within altcoins. And then maybe we do decide to come back and test again. We shall see. But you also have the crazy scenario where this goes and it does break it. And if it breaks it, we know the importance of getting through the 31,000, because once we go past 31,000, you have a huge weekly gap. And the gap's to 35,000, 36,000, 38,000. So yet again, we're sitting in a place where it's uncomfortable. We've just seen the last few days of markets coming down, uncomfortable, not sure. And we know this market by now. It plays with those pure emotions that it happens. But if this trend breaks, I know they're going to send possibly, because they didn't do it last week. I was very surprised to see that last week was no crazy scam wicks. There was a little bit of wicks maybe on the 1 minute or the 3 minute chart, but nothing on the hour. And that's why there might be a scam wick today. There might not. And because the RSLs are down. So let's talk about this for a second. Most alts on critical support. Exactly. Some of them have lost support. And that's the thing. It might be a retest, but the retest, we'll go through that in a second. So what you also have here on Bitcoin is you have 8-hour RSI at the bottom. You then have 12-hour RSI hitting the bottom. And then you got daily entering the bottom phase. So yet again, the last time Bitcoin entered the bottom phase, it held the 20K and we were back at 30. And it's the same thing here again. So yes, there is this possibility. We need to be ready for it if it does happen. And mainly what I'm focusing on that, guys, is daily closes. Any daily closes above 26,500, then it's big for me. Other than that, they can send these wicks. And you see this candle here. I actually want to just highlight the candle again. It's what you really want to see, especially on daily. Like if you see a candle like this, guys, it's good. That's really good, where it drops off into the perfect zone. It gets bought up really quickly. And you can see after that what it creates. So today you want to really focus on that 1 hour candle because it should bring volume. It should bring all of these sort of things. But what we're getting is if Bitcoin holds the support yet again, the bulls are going to try again. And that's why we got to be focused. So I have a whole bunch of different coins I want to speak about today. All of these other ones, as in Cardano, all of them, I'm not talking about them much today because, yes, they're old news. I've spoken about them lots. End of the day, they're all on critical supports. And that's what we're going to wait to see. This might be a huge opportunity to be loading up. But again, just put your daily trend line in and just allow it to do what it needs to do. And if it bounces here on the 200-day and it breaks the trend, amazing. Get in, put your stop loss under the previous low. And a lot of them are showing that. Some of them are showing weakness, as in AVAX, losing the trend. And what I have is this possibility. I still think we're going to bounce in these areas over here. And ultimately, from here, a push up, and we'll see if we get back into trend. So I'm not afraid to fish here and to load up here. Worst scenario, we hit the trend, RSIs at the top, amazing. We bank out, we protect the money that we have too much in AVAX, and we'll get to that. And these are with a lot of the alts here. Same with Sol. They have lost trend. They've definitely lost trend. The only hope that Sol has is still above 200-day. But if we don't make the higher high on the next push, and this will be Bitcoin. Bitcoin goes again for the 30, no higher high. Amazing. We're prepping for the opportunity that I spoke to you guys about yesterday, about possibly making a lot more Solana. And I'm going to teach you how we're going to better all your entries for when the bull market may come at any moment. And what I have is a whole fresh amount of altcoins. I want to speak about different altcoins and ones that are actually showing strength whenever this market, even on the hour here, whenever it shows bullishness or Bitcoin has a small bounce, what's bouncing hard? And we have these two big tokens over here that I want to speak about. I think just before that, let's quickly have a look at the basics, which is where is the futures? Futures is still in this wedge. We haven't broken the bottom side yet, which is good. And we still have the possibility of breaking the top. So I spoke about us playing in this wedge for a while, but now we do have CPI. And CPI might give us direction. So ultimately, same thing. They might wick us here. Wick us, break, and then break. And like we're saying, this is such an important wedge because if we do have a break to the upside, it should attempt highs, all-time highs. So we got to pay attention to that. And then again, we just have this Dixie hovering. We have it hovering right now. And what you want to do is you want to quickly jump to the 4-hour, and you just want to put this trend in on Dixie. Obviously, we want this bad boy going down, and it's at this crazy level where if it does go down, it's going down a lot. And you should have a good spike within the crypto market as well as the stock market. The only thing that's a bit confusing with the stock market is that they're working opposite at the moment. They are. It's crazy. When the stock market's pumping, Bitcoin's dumping. When the stock market's dumping, Bitcoin's pumping. Like, it's crazy how they're working in opposite ways. But nonetheless, we want the dollar to weaken. That's what we want. And put this trend over here on the 4-hour, and let's track that. Let's see if we start to break up, because if we do break and start closing, there's a bit of strength within the dollar, and we need to just pay attention to see where Bitcoin's holding at those times. And remember, if we lose it at any moment here, huge ass gap that can bring Dixie down quite a bit to the downside. Let's quickly look at the total market caps. Total market cap, which is the main one, the very important one. This one's still very far in the bullish trend. Still very far. Look at that. So there can still be a shake, but this is still looking good. Total 2, having a look at ETH. So this is showing us when ETH is going to weaken. And right now we're on support. Important place to possibly, if we break this trend. So you want to put this little top trend here. If we break this trend to the upside, pay attention to ETH, because right now it's still holding support. And if we bounce here, it's a perfect area to bounce. And if we break that trend, pay attention. It means ETH as well. And the one that's obviously shown weakness is the total 3. So Bitcoin, ETH still holding critical levels. This is starting to show weakness. It definitely is. Does not mean we're still hovering on the support now. Maybe CPI gives us something crazy and we break back in. Amazing. Or we do have this slight board dip off today, that wick that I'm speaking about. Then a push, and then maybe the big farming opportunity. If this plays out, I'm saying it again. Yes, in our heads, it's like, oh, alt season didn't come. But for me, this is a huge accumulation where I can literally double all the coins that I have. And if it plays out, I'm just switching to the next strategy where I ignore the dollar from my brain. I throw the dollar out the door because, again, I want to ask you the major question. Do you want something that's been growing like this crazily? Like this dollar, ultimately, you look at the 2 charts. You have the dollar spiking to the upside. You have Bitcoin doing this over the last 20 years, 30 years, these sort of things. And ultimately, we know how this is losing value very much. So as soon as we go into the thing of dollars now, the coins might be weakening to the dollar. You remove the dollar from your brain, and we focus on how do we build Bitcoin, ETH, all these sort of things. So just very important that stop giving a crap about the dollar. Very important. And then the last thing here, just before I jump into those alts, is let's quickly have a look at where we're sitting with the Bitcoin dominance. Just accumulating right now. Just basically ranging at this level over here. And it might be ready for a pop. It's showing here that there's this little 4-hour trend. So let's just zoom in here slightly. If we break this, why would this be strong if Bitcoin's weak? And that's the big thing for me. There hasn't been much love to alts. Alts haven't really gotten to crazy levels this year. If this decides to break to the upside, I think it's Bitcoin's strength. And maybe, remember, if we break this 49% properly, you got 54% in dominance. For me, that's just a very high value Bitcoin. It means they're sending Bitcoin pretty quickly. Now, guys, let's focus quickly on some trades. The first one I want to speak about is Render. Now, Render, I'm not thinking past a higher high just yet, but I think we're getting to a really good area. When you missed Render, Render is a great token to make money right now. It's been probably one of the best tokens this year to make money because it's just been so good and volatile and retesting so well. You saw what it did in the beginning of the year. We literally rallied through from the bottom, hitting a 300%er, and then came back and it respected the levels beautifully. If you take Fibonacci from the bottom to the top, let's see the levels on where it actually came to, and it hit golden zone. So it respected beautifully. And then after that again, we basically came down, hit golden zone, and we went all the way up to these higher levels over here. And now, what was that percentage? I actually just missed it. It hit another 173%. And now if we go take the Fibonacci from bottom to top, we look at where we're at. Golden zone. We're getting a 12-hour and a daily wick candle, so that pin bar candle that I've been speaking about, and we're in support trend over here. So Bitcoin breaks that trend that I'm speaking about. I think you can make great money when it comes to Render. And what I'm just testing at here is I'm just looking at Render make the lower high. It may go higher. We shall see. but basically I'm taking from top to bottom. Where's the 618? It's these areas over here. And I look at percentages from where we are now, 20, 28, 30%. Guys, we just need to make money right now. While our long-term portfolios are not making us money, let's make money in the interim. We got to keep making money and keep staying focused. So render is one of the big ones. Then let's speak about Bitcoin Cash. So we have this whole thing at the moment, which we heard quite, I wouldn't say technical, but we're doing a lot of research on at the moment. BRC20, BRC. BRC. Apps on Bitcoin. Okay, so they're building on Bitcoin. So now all of a sudden we have all of this happening, and we're figuring it out, guys, and we're going to get a lot of these new apps and tokens, and we think it's going to be a huge hit. So try to do a lot of research on it, and we think you're ahead of the game if it does start to play. But we have Bitcoin Cash. We have Bitcoin Cash. We have BSV. Let's speak about these tokens waking up. You bought the Bitcoin Cash dip, didn't you?
Sheldon.
Yes.
How are you doing in the competition, bro?
You're not fantastic, eh?
I
haven't been trading.
How are you doing in the competition, bro?
So I'm in a long now.
I just want to know position, bro.
I think I'm like 900, to be honest. I haven't been trading. How are you doing?
I'm 20, bro.
You're trading though. I
I'm
need to
top
trade.
20, bro.
So no, you are. Yeah. So Rand came to this one. He's like, Sheldon, trade. I'm like, okay, it's not trading again. Focusing so much on the education. So let's go back to Bitcoin Cash. So all of a sudden, what we have is we have Bitcoin Cash at the moment that has created a great volume spike. We had this great little green spike that came through here and starting to show some interest. So these are the only two tokens that I saw that showed quite a bit. But what I did is I actually zoomed out and I'm like, whoa, like this looks very much similar to the Chainlink sort of pattern and what it's basically doing and where it's been ranging. And when it comes to a token, you're just looking for the market cycle, right? Where it's come off a huge dump, goes through accumulation, and then goes into the up phase. And we've seen this many times where it will go through a bull run, it will come through this heavy phase, accumulate for a while, and start the upwards. And ultimately, you look at this token, and you're like, okay, so bear market in check, definitely. Accumulation in check. And now what we have is popping ahead through the 200-day MA, and we got this trend. So guys, if I see in the next day or two, something's happening with Bitcoin, BRC, something's happening. We don't know what's happening, but something's definitely happening. If we break this trend and we close above the 125, 128, I think this might be some great spot longs. With stop losses below, because the first target is 150, but you get through that. And I spoke about these gaps, the next big push to the upside. So I think start paying attention to this. We want to see what's really going to rip. If Bitcoin decides to pop now, and to go crazy to the upside, what's going to move strongly with it? So Bitcoin Cash, if I look at the gaps right now, and we get the breakout here, and we test these areas, guys, you're looking at some great percentage of up to doubling your account, which is amazing. The next one is BSV. So this one has already broke through, and it's retesting a daily trend right now. So for me, I'm dipping my toes slightly over here. I'm hoping that it slows down a little bit and forms a little bit of a trend, but I don't think we might get that. It might just get bought up straight from here and go to the next target. And my next target, $65 to $70. So pay attention to BSV. It's huge volume there, retesting support right now. And this might be great. So pay attention to that. The next one I have is AZERO. Okay. Now this coin woke up really well. I think it was 2-3 weeks back where it started to move strongly. It's in 618 right now. Okay. And we have the support. Now, if there's another dip, I've heard a lot about this token, and I know a lot of people have spoken to me about it, to chart it and things like that. If it comes back, I think $1 is such a good area to be dollar costing within this project. So if there is a slight little pullback today to get us to the area, I think it's great for spot. And what I'm looking at is it might take a little bit of time to get over here. Firstly, that's 20% gains if we go there, and a bit of time here. But once we're through this, I'm seeing this go back to the higher levels. We basically smashed the higher high. We're looking for a strong higher low now. And ultimately, after this, you have the two major targets. You got the one target that's 70% higher than where we are now. And you basically have the next target of the $3. So pay attention to AZERO. The next one, Rand wants the Tesla. Run. Let's never talk about that. That's why it's time. I got to get moving strong with the competition, so that because otherwise, if I'm in an office with this guy, and he wins the competition, I just can't. I might as well. And next one, guys, 𝗂𝗏. So I spoke about 𝗂𝗏 a few weeks back and been accumulating the areas. Right now, broken daily trend retest. So it's looking between the 8.1 and the 8.4 retest. A little bit of a bigger stop loss now. just so you can give it a bit of room. But once it cracks through this high over here, let's say today things go strong and we shoot through. You move your stops to entry, but I think this is good. All of a sudden, we're getting a wake up here. It's looking strong, breaking a great trend right now in a market that's not doing much at the moment. And I'm still looking at this go possible to the levels of 1.3, 1.4, and we have 1.6. Way higher targets on the high time frames, but I think on the short time frame, I think there's some money to be made here. I definitely do. Then what we have is one of the top performing coins of the year. Okay, now this one is risky, guys, and you need to possibly be a little bit patient just because of the gains that it has done. But where it's bouncing now, if it holds this horizontal and it bounces strong, I think we may be getting a good entry. Now, Casper, I didn't speak about it then because it was doing this. And I'm like, I can't call something that's already done a couple 100%. But now we're coming back. We're at 618 of this current wave over here. We have this wick, all these wicks over here where we're seeing some interest. Now, there is the one part of the downside. The downside is we lose this little support and there is a gap to these areas over here. So maybe there's some slightly better entries if we lose that. But if we bounce and we break this short-term trend over here, it's got the first target of the 2.7, which is around about a 20% gainer. And we I see I lost a little bit of signal there. And if this market wakes up at any moment, I think it's going to be one of the big ones that move yet again. Every time we have a bounce in Bitcoin, this thing literally rockets. And if we look at the last 3 times, the first time rocketed strong. Guys, I'm focusing on what can make us money. That's the big thing. 100% there. We look at the next one over here that went. We had a 40% gainer, which is probably similar to what I think the next move can be doing. It's probably around the 25 to the 30% if we don't break that major resistance. Then what we have is Lido, which took quite a bit of a hit. But what I like about Lido is, remember about these candles, guys. I'm speaking about these candles. So firstly, it's on 618 right now. From this whole big push from the beginning of the year to where we are now. Lido is one of the newer tokens. And obviously, we're doing well. And this is a candle that I love to see. Look at that daily wick. It's like a huge wick buy up candle over here. And what you have over here on the smaller time frame is you do have this trend. So you put this trend in play over here. And if we break that trend, we have the first target at 2.2. So it's 20% up from where we are now. And obviously, if we break that, and guys, if Bitcoin smashes through 31, majority of these coins are breaking these resistances. We start to move. So pay attention to Lido. If we break that trend, stop under the last candle and allow it to ride. But it looks like it's going to be one of the really bullish ones. The market wakes up at any moment. Then we have 𝗕𝗗𝗄. Let's speak about 𝗕𝗗𝗄 for a second. So what I want to show you of why I'm dollar costing, I'm still building my position on 𝗕𝗗𝗄, is I think it has one more rally. I do. I think it has one more push. It's either going to be the lower high push. This is purely no long terms here, guys. We know this. It's a meme coin. It's stuff like that. Like there's no long term here, but trading at very low leverage, if not 1x. Okay, because it's so volatile already. But what we have is this long break over here, and now it's starting to go into the slowdown phase. And what I think is, I think there's one more rally here. Now, will that rally go up? I think lower high. Then this thing goes down a lot. Because all the people that bought up there, they're holding strong now, goes there, they'll probably buy more, get everyone FOMOing again, and they send this thing hard, okay, which is crazy. And we have that chat about the Shibu, maybe short Shibu, like we'll have a look. Maybe the money's going to flow there. All the guys have been holding Shibu for so long. But what I am seeing here is I'm looking to build over here in this area over here. A lot of zeros there, so I'll post the chart for you guys. But ultimately, I think there's one more leg. Now, let's also not deny, we saw it, guys. There's a bunch of hungry people out there that are just like crazy about these meme coins. We never know. We never know. It might break it, and it might go try take a part of Doge, try take a part of Shibu. People are having fun with it. But I think here, if we do bounce here, obviously we lose these lows, yes. Things like that. So my stops will be tight, definitely. But if we bounce through hard here soon, and I think if Bitcoin takes off, I think it will. I think there's one more leg to make money. Just be very careful, guys. High risk, definitely a lot of high risk within there. Then we have immutable 𝗓𝗐. I want to speak about immutable 𝗓𝗐 so a little bit more newer tokens. Look at this, guys. Great pullback over here, especially if you didn't have it in your portfolio. And we're in golden zone. And I think on this support over here, I think it's a great area to start. If you don't have immutable 𝗓𝗐, I think it's a great thing to have in your medium long-term portfolio. Great area to start dollar costing over here. Definitely, and there is the areas of possibly the lower 60 cents. So this was too expensive earlier in the year, and now for me, it's getting to a point of where it's looking good. The next one we have, which I think is going to still go lower, but block stacks, right? Block stacks. What's your reason, Craig?
They're doing development on the Bitcoin blockchain.
They're doing development on the Bitcoin blockchain. So anything there, we're looking and we're paying attention to. I still think there's a little bit more downside. I don't think this trend is going to hold just great. I would actually put in this trend over here, which is this one here. But ultimately, our dollar cost here and be ready for this to break out. I think we've got to pay attention to this whole Bitcoin narrative and everything that's happening there at the moment. I have a few meme coins. Nothing there just yet. We'll wait and see. I have been dollar costing into some of them just for fun when it comes to that. And guys, all of the major altcoins that's lost trend, they're going to go try retest. If we don't get through that retest, amazing. We're offloading and we're going to farm a whole bunch of those tokens. But I still think if Bitcoin holds 27, I think the CPI is going to create a wick. On that wick, if there's any good support buys and you get that candle, that 1 hour, pay attention to candles, guys, that long wick candle, I think we can get some great longs. And who knows, Bitcoin might break the next high after that. To anyone, join Sniper School right now. You can come see the live session. It starts in 25 minutes. Have a fantastic day. I'll be back with you guys tomorrow. Much love, Banter fan.